Hello, folks. This hangout is on air, and it's live, and it's 6:30 Central Time, and it's 4:30 California time. So far, we have two whole people. Nate K wanted to join us. He went and bought the beer, and he's sick with a sinus problem, and it was making him feel bad. Jean has to work late. He said he's going to be watching. Hello, Jean. I don't know about everybody else. Maybe they all quit my show because they're sick of it, but I doubt it. All right. It could happen. Anyway, tonight we're looking at a beer that Terry K was just so angry about. He said, "Oh no, straight from the chemical plant." And I said, "But preservatives might be preserving you." Now, this is Wells Banana Bread beer. And we have Tanya Makowski from California with her own channel. With Louisiana Beer Reviews. And I started watching Tanya's channel like basically when it went into production.
Yeah, I think it's 2 years like this month, maybe.
Yeah. Now have you? Yeah, well, congratulations.
Thanks.
I'll be 6 years in December, which is a nice little start, I guess. Hey, what, you've had this beer before?
I have not. No, I've seen it and I thought, that's weird. But, you know, there's a review to be done of it that makes it more fun to drink in case it's awful.
Yeah, I've had it once at least. I might have had it twice. It's from England. I don't know how long it's been on the market because it don't say on the website. It says best before see neck of the bottle. Let's see if I can see the neck of the bottle. I see the neck, but I don't see. Oh, here we go. Oh, okay. Best before August 4th of 2017.
Yeah, mine says July 1st, 2017.
Good. It says long ago ale was known as liquid bread.
Cheers to that.
And we've added the finest malt blends and added fair trade bananas. And they said they use banana essence or whatever that means. Oh, it says our own natural mineral water, fair trade bananas, tempting banoffee aromas. What is banoffee like? Banana and toffee? Silky richness of a masterful malt blend and the peppery spice of the freshest, ripest hops. And this is from Wells and Young. Have you had other beers from that company?
I have, but I can't remember what they are right now. But when I was standing in the beer section, you know, I was like looking and I was like, yeah, I've had that. Yeah, I've had that. No, I haven't had that.
Now, it's imported by Belucas Marketing, and I was trying to look at their website, but it was down. There's nothing. It was like under construction or not functioning, so I couldn't use that. I did look at the Wells and Young website, and they had a pretty good rundown of this beer. It's a pretty nice size bottle, 500 ml. It also comes in 12-ounce bottles and on draft, which I have never seen that. So you have anything to put in about the beer before we start on it?
No, I mean, only that it's 5.2%. And does the website say what the ABVs are? I don't know that that's terribly relevant, but I'm curious.
The what?
I'm sorry, IBUs. What is its bitterness? Very low, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I couldn't find that.
Yeah.
I would think it's not too high. So it's in a, now one interesting thing, in England, it's in a clear bottle. You know, the UK, England, Northern Ireland, Scotland, Wales. But in America, it's in a brown bottle. So next week, we're planning to look at another one from this company, and it's Young's Double Chocolate Stout, which is sold on draft in bottles and in nitro cans.
Oh, I think I've seen it in nitro cans.
I know.
Anything in nitro cans I see really well, but that's the one. That's one of the ones that I've had by this company.
I wanted to get the nitro can, but they were sold out, so I bought a bottle. Okay, well, I poured mine, but I'm going to let you go first because you've never had it.
Okay.
Oh, and Maria Devon said she wants, I don't think she was able to get it for this week, but she says she's planning to join us next week for the chocolate stout.
For chocolate stout? That's a good one.
Double chocolate, yeah.
All right, I keep wanting to smell it. So I get. So we're gonna start with aroma.
Let's go with the appearance.
Appearance. Okay.
You know how sometimes what you see on video is not the same with what you're seeing in real life?
Yeah, exactly. I agree, and it actually confuses me often that we're looking at that we do aroma first. But anyway, so appearance-wise, I don't know how good my lighting is. It's this beautiful dark brown color. Not, I guess not dark necessarily. It's pretty brown, and when I'm looking through the light, it has just a tinge hint of like amber, orange, reddish in there.
Yeah, I think it's copper, and I see some floaties.
Yeah, copper. Yeah.
Very faint sediment, and lots of bubble streams in my glass.
Yeah, I have a little bit of. I have some bubbles. I don't see any floaty things, and I was actually trying to look in the bottle to see if there were floaty things at the bottom. Well, I don't see a lot.
These are just the smallest little flecks, almost like dust particles, but I don't think it's dust. But it's super bubbly. It's almost like a champagne. And when I'm seeing through that fading light.
Yeah, it's nice to me. Otherwise, crystal clear. It's beautiful. It's got beautiful clarity. I don't even remember if it poured with the head, and if it did, it dissipated quickly. But I want to say maybe it did.
Can you see? It's not much.
Yeah.
Well, let's go with the aroma because we can't wait, can we? All right.
I know. It's terribly enticing.
Do you like bananas? First of all, if a person does not like bananas, this is not going to appeal to you at all, right?
Right. Totally. And I wasn't quite certain what I thought about a banana flavored beer because that seems weird, but I'm smelling it and it makes sense. It has this it's very soft banana flavor. It's not like, and it's definitely real banana, not like banana candy flavored. And then just nice like toasty malts. And it makes good sense. I mean, banana bread, one of the best parts of banana bread is the the crusty top where you get that nice crust flavor and then the nuttiness from walnuts and the banana all together, and it's great. And this really is reminiscent of that. And it's soft and subtle, so it doesn't smell like a fruit beer or a flavored beer or anything like that. It's just like, oh, this smell makes sense together.
And you pick up some beer aroma, huh?
Yeah, when I first smelled it out of the bottle, when I first smelled it out of the bottle, it kind of was a lagery smell to me. I just smelled it now out of the bottle, and it has like a toasty bread smell to it. I really, really want to drink this beer.
Okay, I was trying to bring up a list. Oh, lagery, you said?
Yeah. And so maybe that's just.
Hey, you got to call it like you see it. Or like
for me, it's such a distinct smell. Yeah, so lagery smell, but now I don't get that impression now that it's been out and open at all.
Let me go with it now because it might have been 5 years since I've had this, because you think, oh, I had it, and then you think it wasn't that long ago, then it's 5 years ago. They also make that sticky toffee pudding ale. You ever had that one?
I think that's one of the other ones that I have not had.
It's a weird one. It tastes and smells like what it's called, sticky toffee pudding. Well, these are all kind of expensive, but they're gift beers, right? It's not something you're going to drink every day. It's something you'd buy and give someone for Christmas, something like that, as like a novelty item.
Agreed.
I doubt there are a lot of people that drink this on a daily basis, but let's look at it as what it's made to be, a novelty item. I'm getting the banana aroma. I think I'm picking up some banana pudding and banana bread, obviously, and maybe lager, like you said, if you put that in my head, maybe I'm thinking of Pabst Blue Ribbon type thing. But as far as ale, maybe I don't know. I could just sit here and guess. Like if it's a lager or an ale, whatever. It's a light beer aroma. It's not heavy. beer. But I see my father, he's real sensitive in taste and smell. So I will give him something that could be like a double chocolate stout, and he'll smell it and he'll say, it smells like beer. I'm like, oh, you don't even smell the chocolate. Well, I smell it, but it smells just like regular old beer, stinking beer to me. I say, okay, Daddy. You know, so he would probably say that. It smells like beer. I say, okay, well, let's go with, I don't know why he's that way. He used to drink enough of it. Let's go with the taste.
All right. I'm excited about this. Wow, there's all kinds of stuff going on in there.
I certainly agree. I think it's more bitter than we had first believed.
Yeah, it's definitely got a banana flavor, and I can almost pick up like a candy banana, like that fake banana. But then I get breadiness, I get nuttiness, I get this interesting like crisp carbonation that's bitey, which is like, then it's like sparkling banana bread. Sure. Then I get nice maltiness under there, and then it kind of cleans up with this slightly uptick bitter finish that kind of cleans up the whole thing, and then you're ready to start over again. It's very interesting.
Yeah, I'm getting some decent lacing on this glass now. Look at that.
Yeah, that's good.
Well, you get some bitterness, so the IBUs must be higher than I thought. And it's almost like sometimes you'll get bitterness from the banana seeds, or you know, bananas do have some underlying bitterness in them, almost like in the banana skin. And don't people put pecans in banana bread?
Maybe somewhere. I always see it with walnuts.
Oh yeah, walnuts. I'm sorry. That's right. I knew it was some kind of nut. Yeah, walnuts. Shows you how often I eat banana bread. Yeah, right. It's got a little bit of that nuttiness, like you were saying, and an underlying beer flavor of some type. It's probably a very mild ale.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, and it just like I think you're right. It just has a beer flavor under it.
It's not super banana, and it's not super banana pudding, and it's not super banana bread, and it's not super sweet. It's not super bitter. So it's not, to me, and to me it's not the kind of thing you can give somebody to a person who doesn't like beer and say, well, drink this as a substitute, because they're going to pick up a pretty strong beer flavor with banana notes. So I think a person that doesn't like beer is still going to say, ugh, it still tastes like beer. Ugh, I hate beer, you know. That's why they drink those malternatives like those Smirnoff and Seagrams and all that, because those have so much flavoring, and those Bud Light Lime-A-Ritas and all, that it just kind of covers up the beer flavor that they don't enjoy, or they've never let themselves get used to. So I'm going to let you talk now.
I agree. You know, this is not a beer alternative. And really, I feel like the banana flavor goes with probably what is a roasty kind of brown, English brown ale. And the flavors just go nicely together. And so it's got this kind of like banana-iness to it, and this roastiness, this nuttiness, and then nice clean hop finish. And all together, it makes sense. Because I'm reading this, and it says that they put banana flavor in it, but it doesn't say that they put like nut flavor in, or anything like that. And so I think that the rest of the flavor of the bread portion of the banana bread beer is really coming from the beer itself. Yeah,
I think you're right. Now, like Terry K, he does beer goggles. He does videos sometimes. He said, he just hates this company, so he's going to say a lot of bad things about it. But He doesn't like the chemicals, the additives, the flavorings and all, and he was going crazy on my Facebook page when I was posting it, and he made some pretty funny comments. But anyway, that's taking that into account. It's not all natural or anything, but I think it tastes pretty good. I want to talk about the body. The body's kind of thin. At most, it's just medium, I guess, like thin to medium. It's not a. It's. I thought it was going to be thicker. Like that shows you how long it's been since I had it. But it's kind of thin. It's not. I don't know what the calories are, but I don't think it's too heavy.
I expected
might be
as well, and I don't know what that means. I mean, maybe I was expecting that they had put like oatmeal flake in or something to give it some body, and I agree. So it does come across as very thin. It also has very almost bitey carb, and it was, which I found, I don't want to, I mean, surprising. When I had first taken a drink, I was like, oh, this is actually really carbonated and like sparkling banana bread, which I think I had said earlier. So yeah, I found that surprising. I don't think I don't have an opinion about it either way. It's just not what I expected, because I was expecting something heavier in body to go with what is a heavy flavor to me.
Yeah, and it finishes sort of crisp.
Mm-hmm.
Almost like we were saying earlier, like a lighter ale. It's kind of it's a different item. It's hard to it's kind of hard to pin down, in my opinion.
Yeah. This is
it's in a book I have called 300 Beers to Have Before You Die.
Check that one off then.
Oh yes, I checked it off the first time.
Yeah. That's a fun book. I feel like I wasn't sure what to expect, and what I expected was it was going to be very sweet, where you could feel like the sweetness on your tongue, on your lips, where it would be sticky, and it's not at all like that. And that's really nice. So then you just enjoy the flavor and not the stickiness. Because I've had some beers that are, I guess, similar, trying to be some flavor, like Lemon Cruller Donut by Rogue. Yeah. Rogue and Voodoo Donut collaboration, and it was sticky sweet, if memory serves me correctly. But anyway, and that would be unpleasant. I think it's nice that they made it not sticky.
I agree with that. It is not sticky at all. Here's an interesting thing. They've got tasting notes, and plus they give you the Cyclops scale description. It says bitter, 3 out of 5 hop cones. I agree with that. It is much more bitter than I expected. 3 out of 5 hop cones.
3 out of 5, huh?
And sweetness, 3 out of 5. They also give sight, amber. I agree, amber. Aroma, bananas, taste, bananas. Well, it's not just bananas, but that's part of it. It's more beer than bananas, I have to tell you.
It's pretty banana-y.
Yeah, I think.
I feel like my aftertaste is beer, but then like as I breathe out, I can taste banana. If you don't like bananas, don't drink this beer. Oh
no. Oh, I was right. I didn't know what banoffee was, but it says it's an English dessert pie made from bananas, cream, and toffee. Banoffee. Bananas and toffee. Hey, sometimes I do know things.
Sometimes.
And sometimes I'm totally wrong. But I'd like to try it on cask. Draft seasonal cask. And it's not made. Okay, so it's only on draft, unpasteurized, and in bottles. You know what's sad though, in a way? We get their novelty beers. This company's been in business since 1876. We get their novelty beers. And I went to one store that had their Bombardier, an English ale. That's another one that's in that 300 Beers to Have Before You Die, okay? But real quick, I'm going to show you what else they've got. Or I'm going to tell you. They've got the London Stout, triple hopped IPA, Charles Wells dry hopped lager, McEwen's IPA, McEwen's Signature, McEwen's Red, Wells Eagle, McEwen's Champion, Director's Courage Superior Ale, McEwen's Export, Young's Special, Young's London Gold, Young's Bitter, Bombardier Burning Gold, Hummingbird Beer. It's like, you know, why do we only get Take Courage Best Bitter, William Young's Best Ale? Why do we only get the novelty beers? If it was me, wouldn't you also go try all their other mainline English beers?
I totally would. Yeah. Yeah. As a matter of fact, I've thought that to myself a couple times when I stood in the British beer section of a retailer out here called Bevmo, and you know, like it's very limited. They had Guinness and a couple Guinness products, and then they have this and the chocolate stout and the sticky toffee pudding. And I thought there's so many other beers, especially when you look at the style guides that could be accounted for. Where are they?
Right. It's like, okay, you sell them, people will buy them, but you won't know that until you make them available. Maybe they won't sell. If they don't sell, oh well, fine. But at least give people a chance to purchase the product. That's the way.
Yeah, I wonder if people. I don't know. I don't know why they wouldn't sell it out here.
Look, these English beers have hit the skids over here. I went looking for this. 10 years ago, it was common. It was so common. It was called. What was that one? It was. We were trying to review it, and I went all around looking for it. I could not find it. It was so frustrating. And then I realized, wait a minute. There's none of the other English beers we used to get. Twisted Thistle. Thistle. There's no Twisted Thistle. There's no Green King IPA. There's no. Now they had Belhaven, one of the Belhaven beers, but they used to have like a whole array of the Belhaven beers. McEwen Scotch Ale. I was looking for a old speckled hen. They used to have Old Golden Hen, Old Crafty Hen. Gone. And I'm thinking, wow. But maybe it's just because craft beer perhaps pushed it off the shelf or something. I don't know. I can
get some Belhaven beers, but I don't think I get the full complement, unfortunately.
I see you keep putting your headphones on. Are you having trouble hearing me?
Yeah, I'm trying to switch it over, and sometimes my computer doesn't like to switch over. It's just very quiet to me. So. Oh,
I can hear you fine, by the way. So the audio is good, at least from the broadcast end, even though you probably can't hear me, or you're having trouble hearing me. What was I going to say? Oh, I got thrown. Oh, there's two different Belhaven stouts. There's like a 4% and the 8% we used to get. And then I was looking on the Guinness website. There's, we get the foreign extra stout, which is 7.5.
Right.
There's a special Guinness. It's 8%. And it's called, oh, hell, what's the name of it? I'm thinking to myself, wow, you look on the Guinness website, there's like 10 other Guinness beers we can't get. And my opinion is, if you sell them, I'll buy them.
Right. I guess that means I need to go to Ireland, which has already been established. So this is just further proof.
Yeah, my daughter went to Ireland 2 years ago, and they were in Cork, and they were drinking Murphy's Irish Stout, fresh from the brewery. And she was telling me when we were drinking cans of it here, she said, this is good, but believe me, it's nothing like when you're right at the brewery and it's fresh. I said, well, I believe it.
Yeah. I think there's two things that might contribute to them not sending all of those beers over. That one, I think the large portion of beer drinkers in America aren't drinking specialty beers or craft beers. And so it doesn't look like an attractive market where you have to pay to ship. The shipping costs are, drive up the retail costs. And like you said, this is an expensive beer to buy this bottle. And then also, if you're trying to get into the craft market or specialty beer market in the U.S., there's a lot of competition. And so again, the cost to get involved if you're shipping a beer in is probably prohibitive for the most part. And so they have to like really be selective. Like nobody has banana bread beer, so let's send that. Nobody, we've got that market cornered.
Right. Well, you're right about that. And I didn't think along those lines. So yeah, the craft beer phenomena is so what you call flooded. So there's so many beers chasing. It's not an unlimited amount of customers. It's a limited amount of customers. So, and you know how craft beer people are, like you and I, we're like the rest. We try it, then we're on to something else. So then the store's stuck with all this inventory and it's all going stale. And they're like, what are we going to do? I'll give you an example. This big deal now, Yuengling comes to Louisiana August 1st, 2016. So the company that was selling Yuengling, which is Crescent Crown, they're like hitting the stores hard. They're like pressuring them so hard. You gotta, stock so much Yuengling in your store. It's gonna be hot, hot, hot. Okay, so the stores, they're under a lot of pressure. So they bring in these, and I remember when it came in, I'm thinking, I see all these pallets of Yuengling. I'm thinking, how are they gonna sell all this? Well, I said to myself, it's not my problem. Okay, well, they got cases and cases of Yuengling 24 packs of cans, light and regular. Oh, well, guess what happened today? They were sending it all back. 2 pallets of Yuengling light and Yuengling. And I listen to people talk, and I hear them saying, it ain't selling. The cans are not selling. The people only want bottles. So I'm thinking to myself, uh-oh, that's not a good sign. So, and I don't know how many companies are into losing money too much, right? So if they were selling these British beers and they started to stagnate, you know what's going to happen. They're going
to cut it. Yeah.
Cut.
Yeah, not worth it. That's a lot of loss that's happening.
It's getting cut. So, well, I guess the last question is sort of an unfair question because it's not really applicable to this kind of product, this novelty product. The question we always ask at the end is, would you buy it again?
I think so. I think, like I might, it would be a very choice decision. Like, hey, this is an interesting beer. You should try this. Or, somebody's like, bring me something I would have never tasted before. Like, I feel like I can almost guarantee that this is a thing. Or I love bananas, and if I don't have bananas every day, I will die. And I'm like, I have the beer for you. I enjoyed it, and I probably will have a day where I'll be like, I want another banana bread beer.
Yeah, and I agree. I would buy it again, and not just for a review or for video purposes. Would I buy it often? No, it's too expensive. I would buy it definitely to give as a present, although I've had generally bad experiences giving beer to people. My general experience is not positive. I give them exotic beers and they just say, I hate it. So
that's unfortunate. That's challenging. I wonder if that happens to people who give really good wine, or if they hear back at all because it's impolite. I don't know.
No, I will. Well, I'll press people. I'll say, look, don't hold back because I don't want you to humor me. If you don't like it, just tell me. Now, the guy next door, he'll say, yeah, it's pretty good, but I know I can tell he doesn't like it. But and other people, I've given them what I consider really good beers, and they'll just say, that stuff's terrible. And I'm like, no, John Courage Russian Imperial Stout really isn't terrible. But to them, it tastes like mud, So I was like, okay. So I don't do it anymore. But if by some kind of bizarre chance there was someone that I thought would like this as a gift, yeah, I'd buy it for them. And I would get it for myself maybe once every 2 or 3 years, just because it's interesting. It is really one of the 300 beers to have before you die. It's something to try. It's an experience. Is it like the greatest experience? Well, no, but
Yeah,
an experience.
it is. I think it's a very interesting beer, and really it embodies many of the things I like about beers. You know, maltiness, toastiness, roastiness, that kind of bready flavor. You know, and then they just throw some bananas in on there. And I have probably said, and it's on the internet, so you can quote me. You know, I don't like flavored beers, but that's not. It doesn't hold true because there are several that I've had recently that I think are good, and or fruit beers. I guess I've said I don't even know fruit flavored beers, but anyway, this is good, and I like Hell or High watermelon. I like watermelon Dorado. So there's some out there that are really well done, and I think this is a good example of one.
Yeah, and I'm like you. I am generally known for being known for having a lot of animosity towards flavored beers. It goes against everything I stand for. But then, on the other hand, sometimes I watch Happy Days. All right, so you know,
hold on. It says on here in really, really, really tiny letters, Wells Brewers since. Is that 1876?
Yeah, that's right.
Man, that is tiny.
Yeah, 140 years.
Interesting.
So, all right. So we did it. We examined it. I was hoping we'd have a lot more people. And then I know there's some people that are saying, ha ha, it's dying out. Good for you. Well, you know, if it dies out, it dies out. Tough. Too bad for me. Boo hoo. But I don't think that's going to happen. But it's hard to get everybody to join. Like Eric, he's got band practice. Okay, he wants to be in a rock band. So what's he going to do? Tell the band, oh, I can't practice tonight. I got to go review a banana beer. Guess what?
Right?
Yeah, guess what? You're getting kicked out of your heavy metal band immediately. Anyway, it's no big deal. But it's interesting to look at, and that's all we can say. Now, next week is another one that's interesting. We know going into it, it's not going to be like the greatest thing.
Is that the Young's Double Chocolate?
But it exists. Yeah, my daughter loves that beer. It's I would get her to join us on these hangouts, and she talked about doing it, but then she'll end up having to grade papers or something, and she's not going to do it. All right, Young's Double Chocolate Stout. I like it from memory, and I love the nitro version from memory, but I couldn't find it. After that, I'm not even going to mention what's coming after that because some people are going to say, oh, that's too depressing. I'm going to unsubscribe. I can't go there. Anyway, and my answer would be, I understand that. So, but I'll mention that to people in private, what's coming up 2 weeks from now. But, excuse me. Young's Double Chocolate Stout from merry old England coming up next week. And I hope people can join us. Oh, Paul, who talks to me constantly about all these beers off air, he said he cannot join because he's got all these little kids and it's 6:30 his time. And he said after dinner, if he sits down and tries to do an examination, they all start fighting. like he's got a 6-year-old and a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old and a baby. And it's like invariably there'll be some kind of huge uproar. And then his wife says, you can't sit there and talk about this beer. This other child threw the other one down the stairs, you know, and he's like, oh, hell, I can't do it. You know, so he's telling me he always wants to do it, but it's just too much.
Yeah, that's a rough time of day. Yeah, and cheers to 10-year-olds who are writing their name on stuff for camp right now while I'm reviewing this beer.
Right. We want to salute all 10-year-olds who we're not going to particularly necessarily name, but who probably realize what's going on with that. Hey, look, I do appreciate you joining me. And this is 500 milliliters. So if you drank 2 bottles of this, people would be able to tell.
I think you're right. I like the fact that this is a good size beer. Like, I like a healthy serving. Whenever I get a beer, they're like, do you want 16 or 20 ounces or whatever? And I was like, if you're going to ask me that question, give me the big beer. My mom's like, oh, I don't want to have the big one because it gets warm. And I'm like, you know what? I just need to step up my game. If my beer gets cold, I'm slacking. And gets warm, but sometimes it happens. But I like this healthy serving, and I like that it's not like even though it's flavored, it's not like a baby alcohol. That's nice.
Oh, yes. Well, I sure appreciate you joining me. I know it's hard for you at 4:30 in your neck of the woods. It's usually virtually impossible to join us, but
yeah. As a matter of fact, I left work at 3 o'clock today, and because it's usually an hour-long drive for me to come home, and it took me 35 minutes instead. But sometimes there's a beer that I just really, really, really need to rearrange my schedule for.
Yeah, and from what I understand, from what you said on other websites, it's just such a joy to cross that bay.
It's so much fun, and luckily I don't have to cross the bay because that would be more than an hour. But I live 17 miles from Oakland, and where I commute, where I work, and it takes me an hour to get home. So,
wow, that's pretty bad.
Yeah.
So if it was, okay, so I was under the impression you were on the other side of the bay when you were going to work. So, but regardless, it's like hectic.
Yeah, if I were to add crossing the Bay Bridge and going into San Francisco, it'd be another 45 to 50 minutes just because you sit. I mean, it's when you hear the news, it literally says the parking lot when it's giving the traffic report for approaching the toll plaza, because there's all these things coming in because it's Oakland. There's like 900 merging situations happening, and they call it the MacArthur Maze and the parking lot. And it's really a form of torture. But that's why I listen to NPR, because then I am using that time well. So
that sounds dreadful.
It has an element of dreadful. It does. People are like, do you want to work in the city? And I'm like, oh, I just don't know. Like, I don't even know that I can, because I want to be home for said 10-year-old, and that's a long commute. And so I'm not going to cut into my home time. I'm going to cut into my work time, which cuts into my money. So
it's a trade-off.
Right. Exactly. I'm like, sure, I'll work in the city, but I have to leave at 4 every day. Like,
Right. Yeah.
3:30, so whatever.
We all have to make trade-offs, people. All right. Well, I really appreciate you joining me. Thanks for watching, folks. And next week, get ready for chocolate.
Yes, join us for chocolate. I might have to join for that one. I'm trying to decide if I need to join that. Oh yeah, here's said 10-year-old. Here he is. Hi.
The 10-year-old is out of control on the internet. All right. Thanks, folks.
Cheers.